Okay. No. Bring it back a bit. It's too close to the edge. There. Not too close to the edge. You gotta wait to get on.
It's on?
Put your foot right in the middle. There you go. Okay. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay, people. May 21st, 2016. I think it's personally important to continue with the format, considering the history of the nonprofit. Speaking of that, here's a record book. It's empty, but I'm going to start filling in the blanks. Against the City of Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. As I put a title to this video, Plotting Their Attack. I'm just going to keep it jotted down in terms of my contact with city bylaw officers and local police department. Because I went for an eye appointment today. I'm walking there, right? No car. And I've been taking Andre to the little skate park, right? And so because I was going that way, I said, okay, Andre, we're going to go. So long story short, we get there. We've been there for a bit. And I lit up a smoke, people. And I had only taken like 2 or 3 puffs off my cigarette. I just smoked a little bit. And all of a sudden, you know, with no glasses, I couldn't tell if they were cops or if they were city bylaw. And even with my glasses on, I couldn't tell if they were cops until they showed up. Although I should have looked at the stripe on the pants, because the ones with the bylaws have red stripe. And cops, they don't have that. So anyway, they bum rush me, right? Now, Andre, you have to remember, has had like several bad experiences already with Sook, right? And with this situation with, you know, calling CPS, right? Or MCFD or whatever, recently, due to the trolling of my YouTube channel, right? You know, this getting the horses, getting the 50 horses for the cops isn't as exciting as it was prior to. Because, first of all, we're dealing with Sook harassing us, right? On a property that I've been working on for 6 fucking years on, right? He got me out in the rain for 3 months, freezing my ass off, cleaning rotten wood. Or firewood. Or any kind of piece of wood. Right? As they're plotting behind my back to sell off the house and kick me out. Because women and children are easy to target, right? So anyway, I'm sitting there and I have this little smoke. One guy was tall, one guy was short. And the short guy is, well, you know, it's $200 fine. I could give you a warning, you know, but and he starts pulling out his little piece of his little book, right? He starts pulling it out. You know, I could give you a $200 warning, but you know, it's like, you know, if you don't listen to me now, I'm gonna give you a $200 fine. Like, don't argue, don't say nothing to me, just accept. That was the kind of an attitude that he gave off, right? And I'm like, well, where's the signs? Like, I don't see no sign here. And I've been to this park before, people, okay? And I've smoked in that park before. So, you know, Audrey's watching this. The young people that were around were watching this. Apparently, the bylaw officers had been there the day before, right? And called up some mother to come get her 14-year-old son, who apparently had a smoke out there in the skate park the day before, right? So they're trying to say, well, it's not personal. Because, when they showed up, I said, well, where's your security cameras? Like, the minute I light up a cigarette, you come showing up like a minute, not even a minute later. I mean, obviously, where's the spyware, right? And they're like, no, we don't have no spyware out here. No cameras out here. I'm like, yeah, okay. In the meantime, the short guy keeps wheeling around his $200 fine, right? Because I'm like, well, where's the signs? Well, it's $200 fine. Doesn't matter if there's sign. There's signs over there. I'm like, where? Long story short, I asked him. I told him I work on a nonprofit, first of all, right? I asked him if I could record it. When they were getting, like, into a souk mode, whatever, right? Psychological warfare, people. That's what it is. It's all through intimidation. They're not your friends. They make sure they let you know that they're not your friends, right? They're wheeling around their $200 fine because you had a smoke, right? They're trying to say it's not personal, but yet, they're collecting your name and they want your driver's license and, they're creating a file on you. That's what they're doing. They're creating a profile. It's not even a file, people. It's a profile. And they already know I'm combative. Right? They run my name through the computer. They're going to see I'm combative. So that gives them more right to harass me even more the next time they come into contact with me. And this is why I'm doing this video. It's not because I'm paranoid. It's because I'm going to start documenting it. Because I said, okay, so you're telling me that I cannot, from this point forward, smoke in the park, have a cigarette, right? So where do I go for my cigarette? Well, you go stand out in the street. I said, oh, okay. So I'm going to go stand out in the street, and I'm out there doing some shit with the kids, because I'm telling you, people, once I start getting out there, and if I get out there consecutively, it's going to happen. Because I'm a pack animal. If you want to take it to a primate level, it's because I'm a pack animal. I had a large family, and I function well in a large crowd, under the right circumstances. And if I'm going to be any place for any length of time where there's a large crowd, right, something's going to happen. So if I go for a cigarette out onto the street, there's going to be a few trickling in to go and have a cigarette with me. And this is what I was telling these guys. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go out in the street. I'm out here doing something with the kids, and all of a sudden, I got 20 of them standing out in the street with me having a smoke. What's going to happen then? Well, like, deal with it with the cops. I said, what's to say the cops aren't going to harass me? Because city bylaw is almost equal to a cop in terms of their persona, right? The only thing is the city bylaw guy tends to play more like the dirty cop, right? Openly. Not covertly, but openly. Well, I'm just going to give you a fine. I'm going to give you a $20,000 fine. I'm going to give you a $10,000 fine. I'm going to give you a $200 fine. Be afraid of me. Listen to what I have to say, because it's city bylaws. Never mind, I never have to come to you with a piece of paper and give it to you in fucking writing. I'm projecting here, people. Okay? So when people are receiving that the way it was just given to you, of course they're going to get defensive. So I'm out in the street now, and I reminded these guys that some of these young people will be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Who are they or I to tell them they can't have a cigarette? if they're gonna smoke, right? So if I'm out there and 20 kids come out there and 15 are smoking, the other 5 are just hanging around, and it's a big crowd of 20 fucking people because we did a flash mob dance up at the skate park, right? And there just happens to be a number of kids out there that want to go for a cigarette, and we're all out and hanging out in a fucking curb having a cigarette, and the cops roll up. Isn't that just being set up for targeting? Sounds like it to me. It does. It really sounds like they're just setting me up to be targeted at some point in the future. Especially if I get more involved with the young people out there as I spend my time out there. And that's disturbing on my part because I don't know if I want to go back now. Right? For what it's worth. That skate park, if you want to take it there, needs to be sprayed down. It needs to be disinfected. It needs to be cleaned if they're so concerned about the environment. Well, this is a public park. You know, you want to make it nice for everybody. So if I'm standing over here having a cigarette and a person over there 75 feet away or 50 feet away or whatever it is, even 10 feet away, 20 feet away, you tell me my cigarette's going to disturb them? But I'm supposed to go out in the street and have a cigarette out on the fucking street, standing on the curb, letting the cops drive by and can just come to a screeching halt and jump out of their car and treat me like I'm some kind of homeless person. Because that's what they got the homeless people doing. Laying up on the fucking curbs, injecting, smoking, sleeping, changing their clothes, eating, you know, trying to figure out a plan for their life. And cops just roll up on them because they're on the street. They're public property. They're public property. And of course you can't defend yourself. It's impossible because it all goes back to psychological warfare and where it stems from, and watching TV and how the Nazis developed that technique called psychological warfare to get the people, the Jews and whoever else they were gassing, to walk into those chambers for showers thinking they were going to go in for a shower, to only get gassed. It took psychological warfare to get those people to walk in there willingly, thinking one thing and then getting something else. And this is kind of almost the same situation, people. As my grandson is standing around witnessing this. You know, these dirty fucking cops rolling up with their red stripes on their pants, always harassing their grandmother. For one reason or another. And it's not always. It's more than usual. And I told these guys, Jesus Christ, man, I just got finished done with you, you know? Souk, man, like, fuck. Can't even go to the park and have a cigarette while your grandson is learning how to skateboard. But no, you want to send me out in the street and have me fucking targeted by the cops that want to show up at my house and say, oh, well, it's a 911 call, but we don't really know why you're here, other than don't swear in front of your grandson, because that's not being morally polite or correct or whatever. If you don't got the soul patrol, you got the smoke patrol now. And I'm like, okay, I'm at home now, you know, I don't have to go back there, right? Is it really worth the agitation? But my grandson, you know, he likes to skateboard, and I've been told before that he has good balance, so why not give him that opportunity? But at what cost? To one day have their grandmother standing out in the fucking street smoking a cigarette with a few people standing around, and then cops roll up. Oh, well, there's Miss Chorney. We know all about her, you know. We're just waiting for the 50 fucking horses, but we don't want to do anything to help get them. Right? People like that. Give it to me. I'm just waiting for you to give it to me, but I don't fucking see them helping to get it. To work for it. Oh yes, and the other little thing here. I've removed comments and other than they get reviewed now. I can review them first. I can approve them or disapprove them. And that's only because of ignoramus bullshit that, you know, somebody's stuck on some, like a broken record. Okay? Because life is short, people. Really. You don't got a lot of time to make a difference in this world when you think about it. Especially when you've got people trying to sabotage it and take it away from you or deny you access to what you already helped to create. Like in terms of Uncle John. In relation to this other thing. A particular individual sent a little, you know, comment, right, on the last video there with Uncle John, asking why his family, the Dunk clan, should support the non-profit. Okay? And the best thing that I can say on that one is, it takes one. Did I ask for the whole fucking clan to support Uncle John and what he's done in the last 15 years of his life in relation to the non-profit? No. I said not one has done that. And we can take that and we can also apply that to my family. My extended family. Not my immediate family, but my extended family. And the only thing that I can say about my extended family, to put it in a nutshell, is they're racist, people. They're racist. Only racist people do this kind of stuff where they just cast out, right, members of their family because members of their family didn't live up to their morally correct, righteous expectations. In other words, you're a little white girl, you should have married a little white man and had a little white picket fence with a little white poodle on the side. And if you would have done that, us as the Chorney extended family, within my immediate extended family members, I'm not talking the ones living up in freaking Ontario that I've never met, or the ones sitting up in Ukraine that I've never met. I'm talking about the ones that I kind of grew up with over the years as a small child. Those are the ones I'm talking about, right? So they never supported a nonprofit, right? They're not interested. The only time they'll be interested, people, is when it becomes successful. And it won't become successful on my hands. Okay? I'm just the floater account right now. I'm just the one keeping it afloat. Okay? But you have to remember there's other things in there that are much more important. And through faith, it's going to come to fruition. And that's why Uncle John stuck it out all these years. Well, his family was as equally, if not more, racist than my extended family. So we're dealing with the same kind of mentality, mindset, that's almost equal to how the City of Surrey treats its residents. In terms of gang stalking, psychological warfare, you're going to get a $20,000 debt if you don't wash that wood in the middle of winter. You're going to get a $10,000 fucking fine if you don't wash that freaking toy in those rocks or do something with them in the middle of winter. But we're not going to tell you that we want to kick you out and sell out the house from, you know, make $250,000 profit. It's just one big runaround. Seriously, it's one big runaround. But what gives racist people the right to do what they did to Uncle John if not even one of them can support what he helped to create? Right? So, these dirty cops running around in fucking Surrey, right? And what's disturbing about it is, as I was walking home, so we already know that they've set me up to be targeted the minute I go into that park and decide to go have a cigarette. Whether I'm standing out on the street by myself, having a cigarette, having Andre taking a break from his skateboarding, Okay, I have to say, okay, come on, Andre. Can't leave him there, right? I have to bring him with me on the street. So now Andre and I are standing on the street while I'm having a fucking cigarette. So all these people, looky-loos, can drive by and point their moral fingers at me, right? Or I go out in the street with Andre beside me with a bunch of fucking young people out there having a street smoke on the street as everybody's pointing their moral fingers, right? And then, because we know it's all under surveillance, because it's a red zone, because you're not only dealing with the young people, but you're dealing with the sick people in terms of the addiction and the mental health issues out there, right? Lock them up to keep them safe. Make it so that one little spot in that one little park, nobody can smoke nothing, because God forbid if they have a cigarette, they might turn around and smoke something else over there. So before that happens, we want to make sure nobody smokes anywhere, but we're going to send them out in the street so they could be targeted by the dirty cops that drive by. And then come back and tell you that we're your friend. Right? So who wants to get anybody 50 horses? Really? Think about it. Where's the fun in getting these people that enjoy their employment? They enjoy it, people. They enjoy being these people that gassed other people in freaking World War II. It takes a certain kind of person to want to hurt another person. And to continuously hurt. And it doesn't necessarily have to be at the point of a gun. It can be done through psychological warfare. It can be done through gang stalking. It can be done through financial oppression. It can be done through medically kidnapping people and doping up their brains and making it so they can't get up and move around so that they can take and do what they want with that person after they've completely broken that person. So I don't see these police officers and these supposedly, I don't even know what they are, city bylaw officers. Like, what the fuck are they? Like, what the fuck are they? I understand, I told the guy, I understand what you're trying to do here in terms of making it so that it just doesn't become a smoke room. I tried to explain that to the young people there. Well, just think of it as like a smoke room at school. You can't go around a school and smoke, but there always was a smoking room. Well, in this case, it's the street. Right? And I'm actually glad that I'm doing this video, because it gives me an opportunity to think out loud and really think about what it is that this city bylaw officers are wanting me to do and the ramifications around those actions in terms of being targeted as cops are driving up and down the street. Because maybe they won't come and ask me who I am standing out in the street smoking by myself, right? They'll just cruise on by that day. What if I'm outside one day, out there, smoking a cigarette, and there's a group of 15 or 20 young people around me? Cops are going to be rolling up in fucking more than one car. More than one car. So that makes me look bad now, because if it wasn't for Mama Lynn, I wouldn't have been strip searched in the middle of the fucking streets in terms of somebody in that group being harassed, being targeted, having their profile expanded on at my expense. Think about it. The bylaw officer, he's don't worry about that, because I called him on it. Oh, don't worry about that. You're not responsible for them. You're only responsible for you. Well, if I'm going for a smoke and 10 or 15, 20 young people are coming out there to have a smoke with me, whether they smoke or not, they just want to be in that pack. And I just leave them out there to be targeted. like the rest of the people on the streets. And, you know, in terms of homeless people and that type of thing. Then how does it not become my responsibility? And that's why I'm doing this video, because I think I should talk about it. I think I should talk about the insidious actions, right, of how these people that supposedly run around under bylaws and freaking criminal code acts and all this other crap abuse their power at the expense of city councils. Because I said, well, when did this bylaw come in? Oh, 1999. I said, 1999? So he gave me a number. I'm going to look it up online in regards to smoking in city parks. Right? Because nobody deserves to be targeted. And that's exactly what they've done. They set the stage for whoever they want to target on the street having a cigarette. And I think that should be documented. I think it should be documented, written down to some degree. And I think it should be documented talking about it. And I'm sure the morally correct crowd, the Soul Patrol, the Smoke Patrol, you know, the yuppies in the group, right? The ones that live off of green food. Because as I'm walking home, right? As I'm walking home, you know, get to the SkyTrain there and looking across the street, and what do I see, people? Yeah, camera flashing out there for a minute. What do I see, people? I see a cop car and I see a city car, and I see both guys get out, one with his red stripe, the other one with his white stripe, and they go running in together to go have some lunch. So they're plotting and scheming. Right? And it could have well very been done on purpose. As they're watching me and Andre walk home. They have all the technology, right? They're much more faster on the fly. You know, emails is gone like that second. I'm walking, you know, it's going to take me a while. They know which way I'm going, so they know there's a food store there. They know if they want to derail me psychologically, all they have to do is give the impression, oh, we're going to give you a $200 fine. You know, shut up. And, you know, listen to me. You know, 10 times he said $200 fine. I said, after the guy gone, I said to young people, I said, what the hell is with that guy? $200 fine. I said he wouldn't shut up about it. You know? Acting like a freaking judge. I'm going to give you a $200 fine. So anyway, I'm just going to start keeping track of it. And I'm not going to be afraid to talk about it either. No, because I think it's important. Right? Because I've already, again, been set up to fail. This is just another one of those situations being set up to fail. Okay? When I go to this little skate park, I have to be on guard, people. I have to be on guard for those dirty cops that like to cruise the neighborhood and then go for lunch and act like, oh, there was another part of this video I wanted to call it. Like, they're the ones that get the lunch. Right? They get the lunch, right? The majority of those young people don't get the lunch. Andre and I aren't getting no lunch. Right? It's like those racist people. You know, John's extended family, they're racist. Just like my extended family is racist. Well, these people that are sitting here having lunch as they plot how they're going to bum rush me out in the street while I'm having a smoke with a group of people, because it's become a crime to have a cigarette in a city-owned park. City-owned park. The city owns it. That's what gives them the right to make you stand out in the street and become a target. So I'm going to leave it on that one.